qualifying. So I'm ready for that. And we'll see. But I'm okay. It's a lovely day today. Went out a little bit. Sit in the garden after this. Have a lovely time. Lovely time. It's going to be pretty interesting qualifying now. We're we're in a position where there's, I don't know, 6 drivers that could get pole position, which is pretty nuts, really. It's pretty nuts, but it's true. What are we thinking? I think it's going to be a Ferrari or a Mercedes on pole. I'm not ruling out McLaren. I'm just, I've got to choose one of them. And I'm leaning towards McLaren or most likely Ferrari. Hi, Tom. Tom, thank you for the 42 months. I appreciate you, buddy. What we thinking, folks? Come on, give me your predictions. I'm just seeing. Has the Formula 2 race. Did the Formula 2 sprint already happen? It usually happens on a Saturday. Doesn't it? Or was there no sprint race? What, he won the sprint, really? Where did he start? He didn't have a good qualifying, did he? It hasn't even been updated on their website. I mean, that's pretty bad. Oh, and Antonelli finished in P18. Oh, God. Fucking nightmare. I don't think Antonelli had a bad qualifying. He was sixth. He finished sixth in qualifying. He qualified ahead of Behrman. He's got himself in a couple of first lap incidents and early incidents, though, Antonelli. Not ideal. He'll be hoping to do better in the. Yeah, but they do reverse dogs, though, don't they? Qualifying results. Antonelli qualified sixth, 2 positions ahead of Behrman. So I'm not quite sure why he started 15th. Because if they If they do reverse top 8, why has he started 15th? Because like I say, he didn't have a bad quality. He qualified 6th. That's weird. Hmm. Very weird. Someone would have to explain that to me. Did he have some sort of penalty? Or did he start 6th and lose his wing and finish 18th? That would make more sense. Because unless he's had a penalty, there's no way he could have started 15th. In theory, he should have started 3rd if it's reverse top 8. Afternoon, Zoo. Anyway, by the by now, innit? This is going to be an incredibly close qualifying. Incredibly close. Any number of drivers could get pole here. Literally, either Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes. I mean, I wouldn't ever bet against Max Verstappen either. So, Mercedes seemed strong over one lap, but Ferrari seemed like the team to beat over a lot on a long run, for sure. Afternoon, Juice. Hmm. Colapinto did well in the practice sessions, I think. You know, he was getting the hang of it. He did well. If he can be, pretty close to Albon, I'm sure they'll be happy and satisfied with it. It's actually quite a built-up area around Monza. There's just some houses there through the trees. Imagine living next to Monza. Oh yeah, that'll be something, wouldn't it? I am happy that Mercedes have signed Kimi Antonelli. I think it's nice to see a young talent get in a top seat. I'm really excited to see what he can do next year. With proper amount of testing, or with a current car. Um, it'd be interesting to see what he can actually do. I personally think he will be quicker than George, but he'll make mistakes. And I don't think he'll be as good managing tyres and things like that initially. But I think his outright pace might be quicker than George. I think he's got a lot of talent. So I think over a lap he might be quicker, but he won't be quicker in the races. George has got too much experience, I think. And George has got experience in bad cars and good cars now. We'll see. Perez didn't even get a qualifying lap in, really, on the soft tyres in FP3, so he's a bit of an unknown as to where he is, where his pace is. Sergio Perez, just always doing Sergio Perez things. Max seemed to struggle as well. I say struggle. I mean, he was like 2.5 tenths off the fastest lap, which at that point was Lewis Hamilton. So it's all relative, but for him, he was complaining of bad turning in low speed, medium speed. You know, so it's all relative. I mean, Ferrari will be very, very optimistic of a pole position here today in front of their home Tifosi crowd. And it is very warm there. Very spicily warm. As Carlos Sainz starts us off. Yeah, it was neat. That was very neat for Carlos. Looks good around here, this Ferrari. It really does. Do you know what I noticed? I know some people don't like him. What I noticed when Martin Brundle's doing like a fast lap, talking over a fast lap, what you realise is how much better he is at doing it than someone like Karun Chanduk. Because sometimes they get Karun to do it and he's just nowhere near as good. And Damon Hill is absolutely woeful at it. It's, you know, it's a skill. And Martin Brundle's really good at it. Very neat and tidy from Charles Leclerc. We got off board with Carlos Sainz, who did make a small mistake. And Carlos Sainz then backed out of it. Oof, quite the moment. Ooh! Ooh! So we're already quicker than last year, but the track's been resurfaced, so there's no surprise there. So let's see where Max is relative now. Qualifying trim. Charles Leclerc's put a benchmark down. Norris and Verstappen both out. Verstappen's a 10.5 down in the first sector. Norris is pretty much maxed Charles Leclerc, matched him. He's a little bit down, but near as makes no difference. As Max goes onto the gravel on the second Lesmos as well. He's maintained a 10th and a half down, which is actually pretty good through that middle sector. Max has had a good middle sector. 2/10 he's ended up. Well, not even 2/10 actually. 10th and a half. Lando goes quickest. 19.9. Yeah, they've got the pace. I don't know what the point of that little bit of gravel is. I mean, that's a waste of time, isn't it? Just makes a mess all over the track with no... Colapinto a couple of tenths off Albon's time, but I mean, I think they'll be expecting that on his first weekend. Mercedes are on their out lap. Sergio Perez, I'm not quite sure what happened to him because he had a very slow lap. Oscar Piastri's going for a second run now after locking up on his first flying lap. Perez gone straight into the pits. God, it looks so good looking at the cars going through Ascari. I don't really like the changes that they made to those curbs. It is a bit more... Yeah. They can just throw it through Ascari now because the curbs are so flat. Piastri goes P4, which is absolutely fine. Half a second of his teammate, but considering his little lock-up and trip across that small gravel strip, you'll probably take that. Oh, George Russell into the second chicane. Big snap of oversteer. Yeah. It feels like there's a lot of gravel and dirt on the circuit. Can't see the times for George, so goes P4, 20.3, so 4 tenths off Norris's time, but he would have lost a bit of time in that second chicane. Hamilton goes 5th, 20.4. Yeah, half a second off the time of Norris. I mean, not great. Didn't see Hamilton's lap, but Russell definitely made a mistake. George definitely got a little bit more in the tank because he lost some time into the second chicane. So, but Mercedes half a second down on Norris there. I think that tells us that it's McLaren who once again have the outline pace. I don't think Mercedes are gonna have the pace. What's Georgie Boy saying? 20.1 from Sainz. Good luck. I tell you what, Alpine have pulled it around as well. Their car has definitely improved from the absolute boat it was at the beginning of the year. I'm not saying it's great now. It's still a chungus. That nose is so chunky. But, I mean, their performances are so much better. The car is obviously shredded a lot of weight. Perez is currently in the bottom 5, by the way. So he needs a lap. Colapinto, Sonoda, Bottas, Perez, Joe Guan Yu. You have to assume that he will be able to put in... Perez will be able to put in a better lap now. It's crazy, really, to think that in Formula One, half a tenth, or 5/10, half a second, sorry, is a lifetime. When you think about it, 1, 2, 3, like, the amount, it's nothing, really. But in Formula One, it's the difference between a quick car and a slow car. You know, half a second over a lap in Formula One is a lot of time. Pretty crazy. Thank you very much, Fennel. I think Kimi will be very quick. I don't disagree with you. I think Kimi will be very quick. I just think he'll make mistakes. And I think Mercedes will be expecting him to make mistakes. And, you know, that's what you take when you take... Well, that's the risk you take when you have a driver like him. Very similar to Max Verstappen, really. I see a lot of similarities there. Like a very, very talented driver, similar age, coming into Formula One. The difference is that Max went into Toro Rosso, a team that weren't expected to win. Kimi's going into a team where there's more pressure in that respect because it's a team that is expecting to win. And so he's going to have to live up to that. And I think he'll be quick, but he's got to learn to rein it in. Toto, I think, said something that was true and quite apt. And he said, I'd rather have to slow a driver down than the other way around. Because he said you can't make a driver faster. But you can, you know, teach them to slow down and be more measured, you know. And so he'd much rather have that problem than the other way. And that is true, and it makes a lot of sense. Good lap from Albon. Tidy. Both Mercedes ready to go. Oh, God, that is an unsafe release. I mean, that is a slam dunk unsafe release. That couldn't have been more unsafe. Yeah, that's slam dunk that. Ferrari are looking good. Ferrari are looking good. They've brought a load of upgrades this weekend. And even if Ferrari don't get pole position, I think they're looking good for the race. Because Ferrari seem to have really good tyre deck. So even if Ferrari don't get pole, that doesn't mean that they can't win tomorrow. I think McLaren have probably got the 1 lap pace, but I think Ferrari have better race pace. But we'll see. Perez goes 9th, which will be safe, I think, but it's not a great lap. Perez will be safe in 9th, but it's not. It wasn't good. Oh! Yeah, Colapinto's ruined his lap there. He was well in the gravel. Yeah, Magnussen in the gravel through Ascari. As Magnussen goes off into Parabolica. He's going to be ruining everyone's laps behind. Well, but Magnussen has ruined all those cars behind that were in line to knock him out. Stroll, Bottas, and Zhou Guanyu, because there was a yellow flag in the Parabolica because of Magnussen, and he essentially ruined everyone. Everyone behind that could have knocked him out. Oh, Ricciardo's just knocked out Yuki Tsunoda. Piastri goes P3. Verstappen's been quickest in the middle sector. He's bailed out of it. Why didn't he pit? Why did he back off? Why? Yeah, but why back off and not just pit? That's weird. That's really weird that he would back out of the lap but carry on and not pit. Weird. So they were saying it wasn't. They didn't actually throw the yellow flag. They only threw the white flag. That's curious, considering how fast they're coming into that corner. That should have been a slam dunk yellow straight away. So Colapinto does go out, which is a shame, but, you know. I think maybe he had the pace to go through. It was just that mistake was pretty ruinous. I mean, Magnussen had already gone off a little bit wide through Ascari. Maybe he's thinking, these lads behind me, I'm going to fuck them. I'm not saying he would do that, guys. I'm not saying that. He wouldn't do that. I'm not saying he'd do that. But maybe he did. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, isn't it? To be fair, I mean, K-Mag's leaving. He's leaving at the end of the season, and he probably doesn't care. Probably doesn't care that much. I see these. I've seen them loads over the past couple of days. These adverts on Sky for Salesforce. What is Salesforce? It's got uh Matthew McConaughey like acting in the adverts. I mean, I quite like the adverts. I'm sick of seeing them now. Hmm. It's a big old snap for Carlos Sainz as well. That could have easily gone very badly. Hmm. I mean, this unsafe release is not even worth an investigation. It's as clear cut as you like. Ooh, it was close. Delayed the start of Q2 because of all the gravel. Oh my god, the pattern on the nose cone of that Haas doesn't line up on the front nose cone. Oh my god, that's annoying. There's a red stripe and a white stripe, and it doesn't quite line up on the nose cone. It's a little bit off on the front portion. Nah, that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Unbelievable, Jeff. God, there's loads of gravel. Hmm. It is a little bit hotter, I think, during this qualifying session than it has been during some of the practice sessions, so it probably doesn't help Mercedes. Other teams seem to manage those hotter temperatures a little bit better. Hmm. No toe. I mean, if you happen to get a toe though when you're going down the back straight and the car then moves out the way, that's what you want. But orchestrating a toe is quite tricky. Forza Ferrari. So I mean, it looks like Lando Norris has got the outright pace here. It's going to be hard to beat Lando, I'd say. It looks like it could end up being Lando. Both McLarens, both Ferraris on the front two rows is what it looks like. But you can't rule Max pulling out a worldie or someone getting an insane toe that makes the difference. So Yuki Tsunoda getting dunked by Ricardo. Oh yeah, he's in the upgrade. Yuki Tsunoda's in the upgraded RB, and Ricardo's in the old spec. He doesn't get the new spec until next race. Yeah, he was purple in the middle sector, so Max has got some pace. Yeah. Yuki seems a little bit. Yeah, Yuki struggling a little bit. Hmm. See, Ferrari's getting right out straight away. Ain't no messing about. Carlos Sainz out first, is he? Is that Carlos Sainz? I think it is Carlos Sainz, yeah. Love Formula One in Italy, don't they? At Monza. Tifosi. What does Tifosi mean? What does Tifosi mean?
Tifosi is an Italian term that refers to passionate fans, particularly those of sports teams. It's often used in association with Formula One, where Italian fans are known for their intense enthusiasm and colourful displays.
So Tifosi just means enthusiastic fans, then. Interesting. Theo Pusher. He's probably gutted. He's was he hasn't got a guaranteed seat, has he? I'm just trying to remember. I don't think so. But I mean, he deserves one, and he doesn't have one. He's still in IndyCar, isn't he? Yeah. Oh no, he left IndyCar. He was with McLaren, wasn't he? I mean, you've got a Formula 2 champion there that doesn't have a seat in Formula 1. Yeah, Colapinto, who is like 6th in the current year's championship, has a seat. Behrman, who hasn't won it, has a seat. But the actual Formula 2 champion, he doesn't have a seat. So winning Formula 2 guarantees you absolutely nothing. Categorically nothing as well. Which is nonsense, isn't it? But there you go. Hey, Adam, thank you very much. Have you been playing WoW? I mean, if I had to guess, it would be WoW. Yeah, some fast laps here from Ferrari. Charles Leclerc, the quicker of the two. Butters, Boots, how you doing? 20.3. They are on used tyres, though. 20.2 for Charles Leclerc. 3/10 off the quickest time Norris did, but they're on used tyres. What about Maxi Verstappen? Oh, both McLarens are on new tyres. Way. Yeah, Norris 3/10 up in the first sector alone, but apparently he's on new tyres. But Max Verstappen is 3.5 tenths up through the first sector as well. Oh, my. Yeah, qualifying's going all right. It's very close. There's like 6 cars that could genuinely get pole position. Although if we broke that down, we're probably now Q1's happened, maybe 4. It's very close. 19.8 for Max Verstappen. That's a 10 quicker than what Norris did last time, but Norris is going to blitz that. Piastri goes quicker, then Lando Norris is going to cross in a second, and he's going to go even quicker. Only by a 10th, though. So Verstappen was only a 10.5 off. So Norris, 19.7. Piastri less than a 10th off that. Max a 10.5 off. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz were half a second off, but they were on used tyres, so... Oof. Oofy. Both Mercedes are now out on track as well. They're a little bit offset with everyone else. That is close. To be honest, Max is doing a great job there. Only a 10.5 off the time of Norris is, I think, pretty impressive. Really impressive. Considering that Red Bull looks like it's struggling quite a bit. Throwing this car around, Alex Albon. Absolutely doshing it around. Ooh, sideways through Ascari. Oh, he's going to get a slipstream off the McLaren, though. That's really going to have helped Albon. Fine margin. We're talking about fine margins between him and like the RB. That puts him into 8th, 20.4. Yeah, decent. It's quite the hoon, Butters. It's quite the hoon. So Russell, what's he got in the bag? 10.5. Oh my god, that is close. Hamilton goes first. What? He must have had a toe. He must have had a toe there. Bloody hell. Keep going back to this cup of tea. It's bloody empty. Stop going back to it, you nutter. It's gone. The dream's over. So, it is so close. The top 5 are currently separated by 0.2 of a second. Oh, my. Yeah, why is the tea always gone? Why is there just not an endless supply that just always, you know, like a bottomless cup of tea that just refills? Carlos Sainz goes 3rd. Charles Leclerc goes 7th. Not a great lap from Charles Leclerc there. I mean, Hamilton must have had a toe for that lap. He must have. So Hamilton, Norris, Sainz, Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, and Leclerc all ran on new tyres then. So that... Yeah. The top 6 separated by 0.2 of a second. Like, literally. Oh, hey, well, they that's what they're separated by. It's bonkers, isn't it? Wild is what it is. I don't... I mean, I don't know if the front guys are going to go out again. I mean, they probably don't need to. The top 3 or 4, I don't think they would need to go out again. They might want to, though. I wonder if Hamilton had a toe down the pit straight on his lap. I didn't see it, but... Perez is going to need a good lap here. I mean, we've said that before, haven't we? But Perez is going to need a good lap, because if he doesn't get a decent lap in, and, you know, Albon, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Magnussen, Gasly, Ocon, Ricciardo, any of those gets a decent lap, decent toe, he could be in trouble. Hmm. Ocon's starting his lap. To be honest, it looked like he was going really slow, but he's not. I think it was just the camera angle. No, he is. He is going really slow. They're doing a double warm-up lap? I mean, in these temperatures, I wouldn't have thought so. Anyway. Anywho. K-Mag is down on the time that he needs to get out of the elimination zone. Hulkenberg just put the fastest first sector in of anyone. He's done this before. He was half a tenth quicker than Hamilton, who... I mean, that's wild. He's really quick in that first sector, Hulkenberg. I think he did also get a toe down the pit straight, which has certainly helped. Because, yeah, he's now 2.5 tenths down in this, in the second sector. But that's brilliant for him. That'll put him well into safety and above Perez. Magnussen, on the other hand, is in 12th and struggling. He doesn't... I don't think this is going to improve his time at all. No, it hasn't. So Magnussen's out. Perez is putting in a good lap, so I think he's going to be absolutely fine. Oh, Hulkenberg lost loads. He lost half a second in the final sector. Oof. So he could be... Hulkenberg could be in trouble now. Perez is going to be safe. He's managed to put a lap in as Verstappen does a purple middle sector. Oh, Christ, but Perez only went 8th. He must have backed off. Must have backed off. Poor first sector for Alonso. Albon is 2.5 tenths down after 2 sectors, which is really good. But now after Ascari and the run down to the Parabolica, we'll have to see where he ends up. I think Albon's going to be safe, though. Yeah, because Ocon's down and Alonso's not putting in a lightning quick time. Yeah. Albon puts himself into 9th. I think he's going to be safe. Another good effort from Alex Albon in that Williams. Alonso, 11th. I get the feeling Ocon isn't going to improve by a whole lot. Yeah, stays 15th. So Ocon, Gasly, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Alonso out. Hulkenberg makes his way through by the skin of his teeth, and Albon. Another good performance from Albon. George having a lovely time out there. He's going to finish the lap. God, the Aston Martin's been going bloody backwards, hasn't it? Over the last 2 years. It's so weird. They had such an improvement, and now they're arguably worse than where they were. It's yeah, straight Aston Martin, strange. They were like the shock of a couple of years ago, weren't they? And then other teams have now sort of caught up and got their act together, and Aston Martin have gone the other way. Yeah, I feel like you're not wrong, Dan. I feel like a large part of why Aston Martin struggle is they're quick at the start of the season, but for whatever reason, they don't have a good upgrade plan in place like other teams. McLaren and Mercedes have been very good over the years of improving their cars and bringing regular updates. And Aston Martin, I've felt, have never quite been as good, or at least over these last, let's say 3 years. doing that regularly over the course of the season. And so by halfway through the season, they've already gone backwards, and other teams have caught them. It's weird. Eddie, how you doing? Hello. Hello from Britain. So, yeah. Not ideal. But, there you go. If rumors are to be believed, and it seems like this is kind of one of those, like, well-known secrets at this point, that Adrian Newey is going to go to Aston Martin. Supposedly, it's possible they're going to announce him next week. But yeah, we'll see. You got you got to think as well. Like Aston Martin head of aero Dan Fallows worked under Adrian Newey, and now he's like out there on his own, isn't he? And will he want Adrian Newey's input again? So they won't be the tires he's wearing, Juice. Hmm. Yeah. I don't know why they keep pushing this slipstream talk. Like, they don't want to do it because, like I say, one car has to give up a lap to do it. And there's no guarantee it'll even, pay off. They haven't mentioned it, but Hamilton must have had a slipstream to get that fastest lap, surely. So, hmm. So, final session. Here we go. Genuinely, genuinely any one of six cars could pull out a lap here, which is crazy. One small mistake could be the difference between first and eighth. Right. 12 minutes. Are they all on new tyres? Hmm. God, they're going so slow. Ooh. Bloody hell. Max having to avoid two unsafe releases today. That one felt a little bit like the Fernando Alonso one. Do you remember? I can't remember when it was now, but it was Lewis Hamilton. It might have been at Silverstone or something when Alonso was like, unsafe release, and he was wanging the wheel around just to make it look dramatic because he's a wily fox. Felt more like that. Max was maybe putting it on a bit for the show there, just for the sake of it, but. Right. Oscar Piastri. He's going to be the first flying lap that we're going to see in Q3. I don't want to see Zach Brown's face. Let me see Piastri. I don't want to see Zach Brown's face. There we go. Why do they have to do close-ups of people's faces when there's cars starting laps? Like, it's so weird. They look at people, and it's people in the back of the garage, and they zoom in on them. And the people are just like... Norris quicker in the first sector. Nice and tidy through the chicane for Norris. As Piastri heads down to Ascari. Oh, Piastri went a little wide there. Sainz goes quickest in Sector 1. $19.4 for Piastri. That is quick. That is quick. Oh, 3/100ths of a second. Norris is quicker. Carlos Sainz goes third. Fifth. Behind his teammate. Fourth for Charles Leclerc. Ooh. George Russell going around the parabolica. Third. Hamilton fourth. Wow, that's close. Oh my God, that's close. Ooh. Max must have had a mistake because Max was on new tires and Perez was on used. Max must have had a mistake. Woo! 3/10 separating first to sixth. Oh man, it's wow. I mean, Norris and Piastri are separated by 3/1000ths of a second. Or is it 100ths? 100ths. 3/100ths. I mean, Hamilton did the same lap time that he did, and Russell pretty much equaled that he did in Q2 at 19.6. So, I mean, mm, mm. So, I mean, yeah. Who knows? Who knows how this is going to end? It's exciting. It's been a very good qualifying because it's just so close. Is there drama? Is there drama llama at the end of qualifying? Well, Max obviously needs a stellar lap because for whatever reason he struggled last time around. Yeah, I mean, listen, that would be a very Max Verstappen thing to do, wouldn't it? Struggle, really struggle on his first lap and then put it on pole. I mean, listen, I wouldn't bet against Max doing anything these days. You know? Yeah, just zoom in on her face. Zoom in. Yeah, yeah. Get nice and close. See inside her pores. Like, both Mercedes still in the garage. They haven't come out the pits yet. They're coming out now. Right, so Max is the lap I want to focus on here as Max starts his final lap. Nice and tidy through the first chicane. Nice and tidy through the second chicane as he heads into the first Lesmo. A little bit wide. Oh, is a car off ahead of him? I don't know who that was. It was Perez's teammate that might have put him off there in the gravel at the second Lesmo. Max is a 10th down. Well, almost 2/10, sorry. Perez has got out of it as well. Norris not improving in the first sector. Piastri not improving. Russell's going to get a tow from Max Verstappen. Verstappen 7th. Norris improving on his own time through the middle sector, though. As Sainz goes quickest through the first sector. Piastri's a 10th down on Norris. Sainz is a 10th up. Norris improves by a 10th. Piastri's had a slow first 2 sectors, though. Yeah, he's not going to improve. So Piastri currently second, but Sainz was putting in a really good lap. 3rd. Charles Leclerc goes 3rd. So it's 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris. Georgie Russell goes 3rd. Only a 10th off the McLarens, though. Oh, Hamilton 6th. But that's less than a 10th. He's 7/100ths behind his teammate, and that's the difference between 3rd and 6th. That's crazy, isn't it? That less than a 10th was the difference between being behind his teammate and being behind 2 Ferraris. Oof. Spicy. Like, Hamilton did a 19.5. It was like 7/100ths of a second or whatever. 3/4 of a 10th. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? He's been good in qualifying, George, to be fair. He has been good in qualifying. Lando, though. McLaren front row. There we go. So, Lando has a very, very good chance of eating into some championship points tomorrow. If he can convert that into another win. Max struggling in 7th. There's not a given that Max will get on the podium, especially with the race pace of the 2 Ferraris. So, spicy, spicy, spicy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, 0. Less than a 10th was the difference between Hamilton starting 6th and starting 2nd. You know? It's crazy, isn't it? I think it'll be very, very close tomorrow. Very, very close. I think Ferrari are going to have good race pace, but McLaren probably have good race pace as well. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. I am very much looking forward to that. Very much looking forward to that. Right. I'm going to post this link here. Give this a watch. Latest video on Kimi Antonelli. Give that a watch, folks. Give it a like, do all that jazz. And I will catch you for the race tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of your weekend if I don't speak to you. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Goodbye.